All these trials were obviously blown up by Israel. Hamas didn't do that to any of them. Hamas didn't rape or abuse any women. And it's all bullshit. Of course they did.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Get lost here. The only one that's talking bull crap is you flipping scum, dirtbag, double standard, hypocritical fool.
There is not a better time to support Muslim-owned businesses. Anaka is one of them. Simple, modest, and elegant. Buy simple, elegant, modest wear online at Anaka Inspired, your ultimate destination for quality, modest clothing. From open the buyers to close the buyers, discover a curated selection that defines timeless styles. They also sell throws for brothers and attar and hijabs. Brothers and sisters, support and buy your loved ones elegant, modest clothing now. Check them out in the link in the description box below.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters and dear friends. Brother Bassem Yusuf went back to Piers Morgan's show, and there is a couple of points. I mean, I'll say anywhere from 7 to 10 points where he made some very interesting points, and we're just going to dissect them, inshallah. So we're going to watch for ourselves, and you can just see Piers Morgan's utter hypocrisy and double standards once again. I think Brother Bassem just held himself back, because I would have called him out for every single one of them. Let's start off with this one, inshallah, and let's see what we can learn.
April 1970, there was an attack of an Egyptian school in the middle of Delta, 100 kilometers from where my parents were born. It's called Bahr al-Bahr. On that day, Israel bombed a school, killing 30 students. Now, what was so interesting, going back in history, this was the headline of the New York Times of the day. And it says 30 pupils in Egypt said to die in rape. Said to die, the passive voice. Which rape? Who did the rape? We don't know. And then you read it. This is Moshe Dayan. He was the defense minister of Israel at the time. He said, the target had been a military structure that had been photographed from air both before and after the raid. What could have happened here was irresponsibility of high orders from the Egyptians, that they set aside a floor or some room for civilian purposes such as a school. Now, do you believe that?
So you can see that this was, what, 30, 40 years ago? The headlines are still the same. Dehumanizing the Palestinians or the Egyptians, and the same propaganda, the same things, not blaming themselves but rather blaming others. That was beautifully shown by Brother Bassem, that this is continuous. It's just a propaganda machine that is backfiring now.
Has been doing, particularly on October the 7th, what Hezbollah did within hours of October the 7th and carried on for the next year, what the Houthis have done, a lot of it orchestrated by, doubtless, the Iranian regime. Do you categorize that as resistance, as freedom fighting, or are there elements of all those groups who are genuinely terrorist in their thinking?
Oh, you know, someone's a terrorist is other one's.
Yeah, but how you categorize it?
How I categorize it? I mean, like, I'm an American citizen. Of course, I don't want to come back and find the FBI raiding my house. So, yes, of course, they're terrorists.
Do you believe that?
Well, at the advice of my lawyer, I would say.
Well,
that they're terrorists.
I don't think you'd be banned from going back to America.
You know what happened to Scott Ritter? He was the former UN inspector of nuclear weapons in Iraq.
He's a convicted paedophile.
Yeah, but like when he was raided a few months ago, it was because he was talking against Israel. Asa Winstanley, he was a British journalist in London, and his house was raided just last week because he talked about Israel. And this is actually, Piers, what I like about you is that you are a fierce warrior against cancel culture. Right?
Yeah.
If you cancel people for their opinion, we're not living in a free world anymore, right?
I totally agree.
So, for example, you have Robert Saleh, who was the coach of the NFL Jets. He wore like a small Lebanese flag, and he was canceled. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. I came to America, and I was so happy that I can speak about anyone I want. And then suddenly it's like, oh, we can do whatever you want, unless if it's like...
It is, I mean, it's...
Now, here's a very interesting point. They talk about freedom of speech. The fact that he cannot answer that directly, and I'm an evidence to that, because I cannot... If he asked me that question, again... what do you think I'm going to answer? I'm going to say what? Yeah, I mean, I might choose to just be silent on this matter, yeah? Shows you there is no damn freedom of speech. You flipping liars. You cowards. You double-standard hypocrites. You don't believe in freedom of speech. Just like Tommy Robinson, the scumbag, the far-right, this Israeli shield dirtbag, yeah? Who said he would go and join the Israeli army. Coward going having 5-star holidays, sending his little foot soldiers to burn hotels down, yeah? You can clearly see they don't believe in freedom of speech. Because I went into his event, we was nearly getting killed. Why? Because they don't believe in freedom of speech. The fact that Bassem cannot even actively say that. Say, are they freedom fighters? Are they the T word? You can't say it. And then Bassem, I don't know why he said that. He's like, oh, you know, you're an advocate of cancel culture. There was a doctor who was a GP, yes, practitioner, yes. He lost his job because of Piers Morgan. So please, Bassem, you should have stuck that on him. But anyways.
Israel here than there is in America.
Yeah, and yet you have Israel having a crazy control on the political apparatus, whether in America or in here. I mean, 13 out of 25 of the labor cabinet here are funded by Israel lobbies, 126 out of 355 MPs are funded by Israel. I mean, out of those 13 members of cabinet is the prime minister himself, his counselor, his deputy, the home secretary, the foreign secretary, and the secretary of the treasury, who oversees the arms shipments to Israel. So I don't understand why. I mean, I think we should talk about that more about anything, because that is actually what gives Israel the cover for what they're doing.
My take on Israel's government is that Netanyahu, to get back into power, aligned himself.
How convenient. Do you see how we just quickly changed the topic? Do you see that's this? Look, Israel owns America. They own UK. They own them. They talk about Islamization of the Britain and US. You are owned by Israel. You are owned. They are everywhere. The Zionists are everywhere. And they are controlling these MPs to senators in America, APAC. And swiftly just change the topic. The world is waking up. Let's carry on.
Land you want. That's not why the UN was formed. That's not why the Security Council was formed.
When you heard that Sinwar, the Hamas leader, had been killed, what were your feelings about that?
Well, when I heard he was killed, of course, it was this is something that was actually, I said, like, oh, wow, that's actually, he survived all of that. But I think it was a huge mistake by the Israelis to release the footage, because now he's an icon, right?
Is he?
Well, I mean, again, someone's terrorist is someone else's hero, right?
Right, but all he did was lob a piece of wood at them.
Of course, the biggest mistake they made, because they did not know who they were fighting, the biggest mistake they made, and the whole world, forget Muslims, non-Muslims, have seen Sinwar as a hero. That's what they've seen it. You go on Twitter, you name it, wherever, the guy is seen as a hero, because they're asking which of the Western leaders would ever go to the front line and fight. None of them. None of them. So a lot of people are saying, hold on a second, what he's done, these accusations of hiding behind human shields and hostages and run away with the money or whatever, was all what? A big fat lie. A big fat lie, and the Western world has seen it. Next one.
Care about what I genuinely care about, which is trying to work out what the world should think about this. What is the correct proportionate response from either side to any of the things that have happened? And I think it is morally complex. You find it morally more straightforward. I find it complicated. And I've wrestled with how I should think about this. I've gone on a bit of a journey. Now, it doesn't mean that, for example, I would find common ground with you about the way the Palestinian people have been treated for many decades. I do think it's been a form of occupation.
Form of?
Yeah.
Not an occupation. Well, not a full-blown occupation.
As I said to Israelis when they come on, I don't know how you can argue that it's an occupation. I know you moved out in 2005, but the reality is once this war started...
They didn't move out.
Well, once they formally moved out...
You basically... You went out of the room and you locked the room and you basically controlled the perimeter of the room.
I was about to say, after October the 8th, when they began to turn off the water supply, the food supply, the power and so on, it was quite clear they still wield power.
But that was going on since 2006.
No, I understand. So I'm agreeing with you.
You know what drove
I'm agreeing with you. What I'm saying is, clearly that is a form of occupation. Otherwise, it wouldn't have...
It's an occupation, not a form.
Yeah. I mean, look...
It's like saying it's a form of terrorism.
Okay, I take that point. Yeah. Let's call it an occupation. And it has to end. And in my view, I've always hoped and believed there should be a two-state solution. Do you believe that is even remotely achievable now?
I don't know, because the thing is, you created a mess. You completely destroyed all kinds of...
What do you mean? What do you mean?
No, not you. Right. I mean...
Do you see how long it took him to utter the words after 1 year, or should we say, God knows how long it is, okay, it's an occupation. It's a form of occupation. How he was diluting it, trying his best, and finally after he was cornered, he was like, yeah, okay, it's a form of occupation. This is what we're talking about, double standards and bias. He will not say the same thing about Russia. He will not. Let's carry on.
Two-sided.
Yeah.
This is no, but one.
There are two sides.
No, yes, but one side of
you're too one-sided. I understand why.
Okay.
Your wife has family in Gaza. I get it, right? You're going to be one-sided. That's why I've asked you at the start of the interview, when you look back over since 1948, do you find anything to criticize on your side? And your inability to articulate any response to that makes me think you are too one-sided. Do you accept that?
If I met Mike Tyson on the streets and I kicked him, and he responded by kicking me in the face, killing me, yes, I did, but he has a lethal weapon, his hands.
Yeah.
Israel is 1,000 times stronger, and they have the whole of the support, all of the money.
But here's my analogy for you with the Mike Tyson thing. If you had taken thousands of people and you'd gone to Mike Tyson's house and you committed atrocities on his extended family and friends, raping them and killing them and saving people alive. Well, I know you don't believe there was any sexual abuse. Well, there was sexual abuse.
We can talk about that.
Well, we will come to that, but I think it's inarguable. It's been investigated by the United Nations.
Have you read the report?
Well, I've had journalists who I respect more than any in the world.
Have you read the report?
There is indisputable evidence of sexual abuse.
Okay, let's talk about that when it comes.
We will. Well, and we'll agree to differ, I'm sure, but my point is I believe it has been established.
Unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable. Number one, he's talking about, you're very two-sided. You're very one-sided when it comes to Russia and Ukraine. You are categorical. When Mehdi Hassan destroyed you, you are very one-sided when it comes to Russia and Ukraine. You don't have no, maybe, the possibility. It's cutthroat. Yeah, no, Russia's wrong. Why don't you do the same here? Why are you not the same here? Because you can collect it. And what the Zionist entity has been doing for far longer, far worse. But you are saying, oh, you're two-sided. You're one-sided when it comes to Russia. Not only that, you talk about the Mike Tyson example. You cannot make this stuff up. Wallahi, the dhulm of these people, only Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to take them to account. That's why I say to people, Muslims, Yawm al-Qiyamah, Day of Judgment, is a graduation day for us, for the Zionists. Yes, it's a day of doom. For the Palestinians, day of graduation. They're going to see all the oppressors. You think Allah's going to let them go? Allah says, do you think I am unaware of what the evildoers do? I only delay them for a day that their eyes will stare in horror. He's talking about Michael Jackson. Piers goes, imagine Michael Jackson and his family got this. That is the example of the Palestinians. So look how you're seeing if Mike Tyson went through he's talking about October the 7th, because that's when he was born, the flipping midget. He's 1 year old. That's when he's born. He's giving this example, but we're seeing Mike Tyson going through that, his family being killed and this. That's the Palestinians, not the vice versa, you clown. Let's carry on. Not much left.
Yeah,
you don't just people we saw with our eyes.
I know what I've shown, and of course, and as a matter of fact, I've seen many of them. Yes, it's terrible.
Okay.
But
so my point is, if you did all that to Mike Tyson's family, and then he...
But I'm not going to be...
Hang on.
It's a one-to-one man. It's not 1,000 to
But if you did all that, and then he punished you in the face and killed you, would you feel that was justified?
No, but the thing is...
No?
Sir, you're trying to...
Well, I'm throwing your analogy back at you.
You're trying... No, that's not the wrong... I'm saying, like, me and Mike Tyson, man to man, is much stronger than me. I'm not going to show up with, like, 1,000 person. So if you want to do the analogy, you need to modify the analogy again. And the thing is... I think it's like... We always ask what Israel should do, but we never ask what should the Palestinians do. Because, I mean, I know that there's like really great examples. I mean, there are some peaceful examples. There's a beautiful boy called Mido. He's 19 years old. He's an exchange student in Texas. And he was moved from one safe zone to the other, and he ended up into a safe zone, and he was farming. He had a beautiful, beautiful garden. And he was farming, and he was blogging about it. His mom died because of lack of medicine, but he continued to farm. And you know what happened to him? He was killed in an airstrike. You asked me about the Nelson Mandela, and there's a woman called Ahmed Abu Trema. He was inspired by the civil rights movements and the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa, and he toured the churches and the schools and the colleges in the United States, and he came back, and Israel hit him in an airstrike, killing 5 of his family, including his son, and he was injured. If Palestinians march, they get killed. If they throw a stone at a tank, they get killed. If they sit at home quietly, someone will come in and take their home away, and they kill them. If someone just like picking up olives, they will kill him. So what would that say? And I don't know, like...
But it sounds to me like what you're doing, you're constructing...
Like I'm justifying October 7th, right?
No, I'm going to put words in your mouth, but it sounds to me like you're saying, what else did you expect?
Yeah, what else did you expect? If you treat people like animals, they will behave like animals, Piers.
Do you accept they behave like animals?
Yeah, some of them did, yes. Some of them did. Like, yeah,
there were 3,000 of them.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. You cannot make this stuff up. The far right, and Piers Morgan, he leans to the right, they think that Islam is taking over Europe. We haven't gone to anyone's houses, expelled them, took over their country. We haven't done nothing to them. And they are panicking and want us out. Just imagine, guys. They are panicking because their churches have turned into mosques because they don't go to church. And we Muslims are practicing. They are panicking because of that. Just imagine if we did 5% of what the Zionists in Israel is doing in the UK. These guys would pick up arms and slaughter us one by one. Do you see the hypocrisy? When they fear we are about to take over, fear, there's nothing there to be taken, we're just practicing our faith. You're not going to churches, so we're going mosques. They are doing all kinds of stuff. Imagine if we did what Israel does. They would do far worse. But look at the hypocrisy. There we go. A few more clips, inshallah.
Palestine, and they talk like what will happen now, how we get it. 3 things. The story of the decapitated babies.
That was not true.
Good. So why didn't the Western media refute it? Why didn't they?
Well, it was refuted very quickly.
Really?
Yes.
But
very quickly.
How many times the Western media has used that media? Until today, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, is still repeating it. Until now,
well,
Benjamin Netanyahu.
It's not true.
I know, but it was.
But it has been discounted by the media.
No, not really.
It has.
Not really, and it didn't. And in the discounting and refuting, and I think when you have an apology or a retraction, it has to be.
Yeah, but I was accused of saying it. I never said it.
You said.
No, I didn't say it.
You said. It came to me as a revelation that I read about 40 murdered babies. Some of them are decapitated.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah.
You said
which were early reports.
With John Collins.
Yeah,
right.
Which were early reports.
I understand.
Which turned out not to be true.
I know, but like this, but you understand the shock, the initial shock that made the public turn a blind eye of what's happening. Because like, I mean, if I was like a European, it's like, oh my God.
But I would throw back at you, Bassem, this. I don't know if you've seen all the GoPro camera footage from Hamas that they broadcast to the world, but I have seen a lot of it.
Me too.
And
I have them. I've seen them.
So I think splitting hairs, which is what I would call it, over the nature of the depravity, given the way that they openly boasted.
The whole thing of beheaded babies, etc., was false. But they still propagate that narrative. You know why? So that they can justify to the people. The people come and say, oh, they've done this. Of course, slaughter them is fine. They are looking for an excuse to do. And guess what? They are going to do these atrocities in Palestine regardless. It's just so you, the viewer, can be like, they did that to the babies? Okay, you know what? I'm going to have to turn a blind eye to the retaliation. That's one case. Let's go to the other case of the grape. The grape, yes, if you know what I'm talking about. If there's any substantial evidence on that.
Between
but you don't believe that any women were sexually abused?
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
but before that, like, I mean, I just want to just mention something about because that's important. This is the pictures
Is this burnt out cars after October 7th?
Yes, this is the print. All right. And then we should believe that Hamas went in with AK-47 and caused that kind of damage.
Have you seen the footage of them actually going car by car doing that kind of thing?
Yeah, but they didn't. This
Well,
is burned and destroyed.
how do you know how many they did?
Does this look like AK-47 thing?
It looks like a bunch of cars have been set on fire, yeah.
Yeah, set on fire. Okay, this, and then if you, like, I know...
What's your argument that Israelis did all that themselves?
This is pictures for something called the Highway of Death from Iraq. This is the same thing. This is Apaches. These are Apaches, right? So this is actually cars.
Right, but have you seen the footage of Hamas going car to car?
Yeah, killing them with machine guns.
And setting fire to the cars?
Yeah, but that is not the
actually, that is exactly how they
do it. That is like a car of an Apache. These are the Apaches.
Well, it's also the look of a car that's been set on fire.
Yeah, but that doesn't cause...
You're just surmising. You're guessing.
No, I'm not guessing.
Why are you trying to excuse what Hamas did?
One of them is... Well, I'm not excusing.
Right.
I'm talking about facts.
Well, these aren't facts. This is just you saying, look at these pictures, look at those. They look quite similar.
At least...
Have you seen many burned out cars in your life? Because I have.
Really? And I have two. In the revolution, I had many. Yeah, but that's...
And they didn't look like that?
But this is Apaches.
Or it's burnt out cars.
So many burnt cars with them.
Yeah, there were a lot. They went car to car to car.
Yeah,
they were literally stopping cars and killing people and burning them.
Interesting, yes.
But why wouldn't you believe it? They wanted us to believe that. They wanted to show the world that.
I mean, you can't make this up, man. He is outright rejecting the Haaretz, their own Israeli newspaper. The IDF soldiers saying that they were given the Hannibal directive, meaning you take everybody out. The Israelis killed their own soldiers, their own civilians. A woman said, who? They were shelling the houses. They didn't have the tools. Hamas didn't have the tools to do that. The lady says very clearly, it was their own fire. He cannot accept it. Cannot. He's clearly showing him examples of the Apache. What he does, the reminisce. Now he's trying to say that Hamas went. Where's the clips of Hamas going on? As far as I know, I haven't seen any. Yes, they're going to set on fire to that many cars. Get the hell out of here, man. Yeah, we're going to do 2 more clips, inshallah. We're done.
Talk about your claim that you don't think any women were sexually abused.
Yes. Well, the Times of London, which is a right-leaning newspaper, talked about the UN report, and they said Pramila Patten, who confirmed Israeli authorities were unable to provide much of the evidence that political leaders had insisted existed in all the Hamas video footage Patton's team had watched and all the photographs they had seen. There were no depiction of rape. We hired a leading Israeli dark web researcher to look for evidence of those images, including footage deleted from public sources. None could be found. And Patton said the first letter that I received from the government of Israel talked about hundreds of thousands of cases of brutal sexual violence perpetrated against men, women, and children. I have not found anything of that. That is the UN report.
All these cars were obviously blown up by Israel. Hamas didn't do that to any of them. Hamas didn't rape or abuse any women. And it's all bullshit. Of course they did.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
You know it.
No,
in your heart, you know
I don't think so.
You don't want to concede an inch.
No.
I understand why, because you think that actually the bigger picture is that Israel's behaved like this for so long towards the Palestinians with their occupation.
But we never know. As a matter of fact, we have Palestinians on camera.
But you think it diminishes your argument if you give an inch to any of this stuff?
Oh,
my point to you, it would actually, I think it would strengthen you, not diminish you, if you were able to concede.
Get lost here. The only one that's talking bull crap is you flipping scum, dirtbag, double standard, hypocritical fool you are. That's why the whole world knows what kind of a clown you are. Okay. There is no evidence for the babies. There's no evidence for the grape. There's no evidence for Hamas killing 1,200. He lies. You're a hypocrite. That's what you are. Brothers and sisters, alhamdulillah, I don't think anyone should ever go to Piers' show again. It's been done. This guy's an absolute clown. He has nothing else to look forward in life, and he only does this. Sensationalism. That's what I'm going to say, inshallah. Hope you guys enjoy the videos, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala carry on exposing them to the whole dunya which they are. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.